Hello and welcome to my art channel. My name is Kristina Moyer. Thank you so much for being here, whether you've been around for a while or you're new. Welcome and thank you so much. It means a lot to me. Hopefully you enjoy. If you want to let me know in the comments what you think, what you enjoy the most about these particular time lapses and that kind of thing, let me know so I have some idea of what to keep creating in the future for you. Because I want to make it for the peeps too. I do it for myself, but also for you guys. So anyways, today I'm featuring cover number 4 of the series Tales of Basting Twill. It's a project I've been working on with my mom to get her books out there because I've just loved them so much, but I'm not into reading online as much. I have been, but I prefer to hold a book in my hands and read it and kind of have that feel of it's coming to an end. Whereas when I'm reading on my phone, that's the only thing I would say I don't really love is I don't know how far into the book I am. So that's one reason I really love to hold a real book. If the book is too heavy, that can be irritating, but these are not too heavy. We've done a really nice size so you can still read it well and have it look really nice on your shelf. And we have that in mind as we're creating the different covers for each volume. So each volume has 2 books in them. This one has The Pattern of Love and Binding Notions, and The Pattern of Love is what I'm featuring here in this painting. If you know anything about the Cotswolds, so the Cotswolds are a real place in England, and they have this most beautiful, gorgeous creamy yellow stone, and that's what I'm featuring here. A cottage that's mentioned in book number 1 with a white door, cobblestone pathway. And we just wanted to make sure that one of the books featured the Cotswold stone because it's iconic and so special. So we wanted to feature that. And I also love gardens and that type of thing. When I think of England, it's like the gardens, the flowers, everything, the green. And so we're featuring that in this as well, but not until we get that base structure down. So I had a lot of fun with this one, especially knowing that, hey, in the books, it actually has this in it. And the way I've created is I know that it's going to be on a book. So when you're making a painting that you know is going to be on a book cover, you have this idea of where the spine is going to be, where the front is going to be. So I wanted that front door to be kind of center stage of the book, and because that was really the main part of it. And then have these vines that you're going to see me put in wisteria coming up the middle. Now I know wisteria isn't always grown next to a house and maybe can be invasive for some areas, but it's the most beautiful purple, and it does grow up on some walls. So I went with it because we wanted that purple next to the previous book was green, a lot of green on the cover. And so I wanted something that would go kind of nicely next to that. So the yellows with the purple and that, and still some of the green. So we keep those things in mind as we're going forward with subsequent volumes. We have this idea of, okay, the previous volume was this color, what should we make the next one, so that they all have their unique aspects to them, but then also have cohesiveness as we go along. And that's one reason why I blur out to the same degree each volume, the cover, after I've digitized them. I don't keep the fine detail in it. I blur it out. I don't know if you guys like that, but I do that so that you can read the text. And so the text still stands out because it is important that you see the text and the artwork should be secondary to that. So, and I'm new to design, so hopefully, let me know what you think about that. So right now I'm just working on fixing and what I want to do with this window here, making changes here and there. If I drew in the lines for for the windows, but then I didn't like the color in the back, instead of trying to go around all those lines, like what makes sense? Work smarter than harder, right? So that's kind of what I'm doing here, trying to figure out, making sure that things work well before I add in this wisteria vine, which is going to be so fun for the spine, which you're already be able to see. And it's already out in print. You can already purchase it on Amazon in so many different countries. So if you're watching this from a different country, check it out. In the description, there's going to be a link. See if you can get it from where you're at and give it a go. Maybe it's something one of your loved ones would appreciate, because it's hard to find a clean book these days. It really is. And I don't want to start reading something myself that isn't going to work for me. So I didn't really love what I was doing with the door. This is the center stage, the front cover. I got to make sure it's something awesome that I really love. If I'm not loving it or feeling it, I feel like you guys aren't going to love it either, or nobody else is going to. So I kind of took a different turn. I didn't really like what I was doing with that. So yeah, made some changes. And you know what? Acrylic can be very forgiving for creating layers. So that's one thing I love about acrylic. It dries quickly. You can layer it. Yeah, you can still blend it if you're working in it wet. Blending is probably its biggest, con. But the pros for me kind of outweigh the cons when it comes to acrylic painting. So I really do enjoy it. And yeah, when I get into the zone, I'm listening to a podcast or something. It's a lot of fun. Okay. So before I went in on this, because if you've got your background like set, you don't want to just start blotching onto it without any practice or knowing what you're doing. So I did use my sketchbook first to make sure I liked how I did my method for creating the wisteria plants, the flowers itself, like on the vine. And I decided I was ready after trying it, testing it out. Then I was ready to go on to the real deal. So do have a sketchbook on hand, do a little practicing. That way you're going to, avoid a lot of headache and not have to redo a lot of things. So I do like, because it might not be fully touching the house at all times, creating kind of a muted tone for the background, like where it's touching the wall, maybe the shadow, and then going in with this kind of wine purple, and then adding a little bit of white to really make it pop and bring it forward. And that's how I'm creating the depth. So I'm creating these layers where the darker, more muted tones, you get your shadow in, things that are in the distance, and then coming forward. And that's how I work all of this. So once I got my wisteria in place, I'm like, okay, now I'm ready to add in more of this plant work and really get like this, work with that color that I need and continue going forward with that color. So just building on that. So if I'm using one color and I've already mixed it, instead of having to mix it a million times, we just go forward with that. And I really had fun with these flowers. It was so fun. Even these shrubs right here, had a lot of fun putting those together. And you're going to see this last bit come together pretty quick. I'm not sure if I just didn't film all of it, if I was getting tired of filming some of it. But I really also love roses. I don't know if you're into flowers, what is your favorite flower? I can't say what exactly is my favorite. I do like a combination. I love gardens, and I worked at a garden center, so I have a lot of favorites, but I do love a nice coral kind of pinky rose. This one I did a little more on the pink side than coral, but with those blues in there, just love it. So I'm just adding in the flowers along, knowing where, hopefully where the spine is going to be and everything, keeping that in mind. So what do you guys think about this piece? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time for Volume 5. Take care now.